So this one, what I'm going to share with you today might sting a little bit, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, right? So he's left, he's gone, or she's gone, they're away. So one thing I want you to know is they can make their own choices. So whilst it may hurt, and whilst it isn't what we expected, and whilst they had agreed to be married and that was a lifetime contract, they still had the right to end that contract. And it could have been you. You might think, no, never, we'd never have done that. I would have done something else. Until we're in that situation, none of us really know how we're going to act. And I've seen it from both sides. Okay? So they still have a right to make that decision to terminate that contract, right? And I know it hurts. I know it hurts like a motherfucker because I was there. And, you know, the thing is, some people can transition a lot quicker than others. And it got me thinking, how can that be? So he left. and I have to remember that he had all these beautiful emotions flooding around his body because he was getting involved in another relationship. So at the start of a relationship, your hormones and the hormones that are in your body, they release beautiful feelings. And that's why we're always a bit giddy when we first meet somebody, and it's that anticipation, it's that feeling of love and that feeling of the first time for so many things. And that sets off so many hormones and I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. Endorphins in your body. Now, when you're the dumpy, you don't get that. You don't get those hormones. You get the bad hormones. So taking that, we have to take that into account. That's how they can often switch off just like that, because they are experiencing and their body's full with all these beautiful hormones in their body. You don't have that. And this is the part that might sting a bit. I believe a lot of us stay, and a lot of you will be in that place and you'll stay there for far too long. You'll stay in that place of hurt far too long. And you'll be on Facebook groups slagging him off, saying how bad life is, how you can't go on, how you're not going to be able to, how on earth are you going to be able to trust somebody else again? Well, even that in itself is not a problem with them, it's a problem with you. Because not trusting somebody, I went into my marriage and I believed that men just walk away. They just walk away from things, they don't face responsibilities, and that was my belief. And guess what happened to me? Yep, exactly that. Not once, but twice. And that was because I had experienced that with the men who were in my life as a child, like my brother and my dad. So that was my perception of men. And that was why that happened. But if I was to go about now and say, well, that's that, I mean, I can't trust men. See what I mean? Look at what he done. He made me believe, and I now know that I am right. I can't trust men. And now I definitely will not trust men. But that's nothing to do with them. It's to do with me. They have only acted according to what I believe in. They have reacted in a way that confirms I am right, because you are always right. So if I was to continue now saying I don't trust men, then my next relationship would be exactly the same, and something would come to light that would say I can't trust men. So there's old trauma there. The old trauma for me was not being able to trust men, and because I had a perception that men leave. So that was the old trauma for me. That is what was causing that. That was my part. That was unresolved trauma. It wasn't processed. I didn't release that. I didn't let that go. That was just something that happened. It was unfortunate. It happened to me. But who am I to put a label on no man can be trusted? And because I believed that, that was exactly what I was projecting outwards to the external world. So the external world is just doing what I am believing it will do. And we cannot continue to change the external world. So am I meant to just wait until I meet somebody that I think I can trust you? And that means that I'm actually trying to control the external world to match my expectations. And I can't do that. We can't control something external. The only thing that you are in control of is yourself. Now, we all have some sort of trauma. We all have some sort of belief. And I guarantee that if you were to look inwards and start working on yourself and start working on these old beliefs, these old traumas, you would suddenly find that you did play a part in what happened. There is no other way. You see, I could have stayed in Facebook groups and bitched about them and been so fucking angry all the time and said, I'm never trusting anyone again. I was only going to damage me. I'm only going to bring more of that into my life. So if you truly want change, you have to look inside and deal with that shit before you can start to even think about controlling the external world. You can't allow other people to control how you feel. Used to be, I remember saying, yeah, whatever it was, I would say, how could you say that to me? That's a terrible thing to say to me. What hurts you doesn't necessarily hurt somebody else. You might turn around and go, I absolutely hate black hooded jumpers. And, you know, it's okay to say that. And just because I'm wearing one, am I meant to fall out with you and just say how disgusted I am with you because you said something that I don't like? You don't know that I have a trauma around black hooded jumpers. So whilst, yes, I'm wearing one and you say, I don't like them, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh gosh. And then I create a story about that saying it's me, I'm not worthy, told you this was what would happen. You are in control of this. Now, I'm not saying that this doesn't hurt because I know it does, but I believe that you play a part. And I also believe that if you actually want to heal from this and get your true and utter freedom and move on with your life, then you need to let go of the victim mentality that you're walking around with. Now, again, that might sting. And I'm sorry, but that is your way that you are going to heal, is when you look inside. It's not external to you. It's not their fault. You played a bigger part than what you can ever imagine. So I would start by writing down some of the beliefs. Don't get emotional about them. Think about you. What do you really believe? So when I done this, I was like, well, I do believe that men walk away. Of course they fucking do. And yes, it allowed some of my anger to be released. But write them down. What do you really believe? And they'll come from childhood. Guaranteed. Most of your beliefs are from childhood, and I guarantee that most of them are not even yours, but you inherited them from your mum, your dad, your cousin, your sister, the dog, whatever. You inherited them. Have a look at them, and then look at your life and your situation, and I guarantee that they'll match. They will match. If you want to work with me and get more of this and overcome the heartbreak that you're going through, then you can drop me a message.